Welcome to a new series of converting Paws adventures into Dad adventures using Dad Builder. Going to follow one which appeared in Sinclair User many years ago, but has been very conveniently preserved online for us by Larry Horsfield. The adventure is called Dawn Patrol. We'll work our way through the tutorial, looking at the differences between Paws and Dad, and also looking at how we can use Dad Builder to create an adventure of this kind. We're going to start on part 2 of the tutorial. Part 1 was just a discussion about text adventures, and you can go back and look at that if you wish to, but it doesn't really have any benefit to us for this series of videos. But starting away then, we're going to have a new adventure, so let's go new, and we're going to call it Dawn Patrol because that's the name given to us in the magazine, and we'll stick to it being an English adventure, and we'll create that. The first part is talking about the different versions of the spectrum. There was a bug which meant in Paws you couldn't use the text compression in some of the later versions of the spectrum. We don't need to worry about that here, so we'll go to getting started. The adventure is going to teach you how to program. Is entitled Dawn Patrol, consists of 8 locations, including location 0, which will be the title page, which is quite usual for Dad and Paws adventures. You are a soldier who's due to go out on mounted patrol in a few minutes. Some pranksters amongst your comrades have hidden your helmet and chainmail. You must find these before you can join the patrol. He'll be including flag manipulation, screen display techniques that are not given in the Paws tutorial adventure, which is the one we did previously. Throughout the article I'll be instructing you to input entries into Paw, whether they're locations, messages, response or process table entries. We'll be familiar with doing that already from the previous adventure we converted. So then we have the map of the adventure, which again is always very convenient when someone gives you a map to follow because it works nicely with the visual editor. So it's going to start with creating locations, and we could do that by going here in locations, and we could add new locations in here. We're actually going to do it in the visual editor because that's far easier. So the first location is 0, which already has text in there in default database. So he says any Paws adventure automatically starts on location 0, as it generally does in Dad, although you can change that. And this is used as a title page, introduction page. We don't want the title to be on the very top line. We must insert a couple of blank lines. And he has the instructions on how to do that. It's a little bit easier for us. We can just go enter, and that should be converted into escape sequences behind the scenes for us. So then we want to type the title, Dawn Patrol, and then he says 3 more blank lines, 3 more blank lines, and then for the introductory storyline, the plot, type in the following. I am going to copy and paste the following to save me having to type, and put that at the bottom of where we have this. So that is our location 0 done. So we must now insert the other 7 locations of the adventure. From location submenu, enter L. We don't need to worry about doing that. We can just go straight into the visual editor. We already have a location 1 here. If we go to the map, so in the castle courtyard, this is going to be right in the center. So let's move that into the center here. The location 2 is the arch, so this connection here is going to be wrong. Let's get rid of that. Location 2 is going to be below this one. Location 3 is the stables. It matters for this particular adventure which order the rooms are in, as we'll see later on. So the stables go on that side. Tack room is location 4, which is the other side of the stables. Location 5, top of the stairs, is the entrance to the castle itself. So we have the top of the stairs here. Then we have gatehouse, archway, guard room. So one there and one there. Okay, so that's all our locations. We'll go back into edit mode. So location 1, we have this description here. So we'll delete the default location. We'll copy that into there, and I'll just race ahead and do the same for all the other locations, and I'll join you in a minute. Okay, we're back. So he says, you'll notice locations 1 and 2 are missing a word at the end of the text. I did notice that, and I was thinking, is that a typo? But it's deliberate. This will be printed on screen when the adventure is running, and I'll detail how this is done later. You can also see I put a blank space at the end of each location text. This is because of messages that will be tagged on at the end of each location text. Note, I always put a blank space at the end of every message I insert into a database, and for the purposes of this tutorial you should do the same as well. Having inserted the locations, we must now insert the connections between them so we can move around. This is done in the connections table for locations where we can freely move around, but from title page to location 1 we need an entry in the process table 1. We don't need to do that, that's automatically in the template for DAD. Movement in and out of the armory, location 2, is dealt with within the response table. As you remember, that's going to be process number 5 in DAD, and this will be dealt with later. Process table 1 is scan by pause every time you move to a new location. As we discussed last time, this is process table 3, or a describe action is acted upon. From the sub menu, type Z, go back to MN, select P, the process tables. First process table you go to is process 2, which pause scans after each input from the player. This is process table 4 in DAD. So we need to put an entry into process 1. Select that process table by typing S1, press enter, you press P, you'll see 2 entries in the table. We can skip all of that. So process 1, the entry we need to insert into process 1 should go after the first 2 entries that are in there. I don't think we're going to have any entries in there by default in DAD. We've got one in there, which is the dark flag process. So this is moving from the title page to the first location. That's actually done automatically here in process 6, where the adventure is initialized. It will show the introduction screen, and then automatically it will jump to location 1, so we don't need to worry about that. So we're now going to insert the location, the connections between the locations. Okay, so we can carry on doing this in the visual editor. From location 3 we go west to location 1. Location 3, okay, yep, so that's from the stables. We go west to location 1. Location 4, we go west to 3, and we have east to 4. That's automatically connected up here, so that'll do the reverse locations for us. Location 5, we go down to 6. I would have thought it should be an up to 6. It says down to 6, so currently we'll make that just one way because maybe there's something stopping us going back up. 6, we can move east to 1, 6 we move east to 1, so 6 is here. We can move east to 1 and we go north to 7. Let's do that one again, north to 7. And location 7 we can go south to 6, so that's automatically connected up for us. What I'm just going to do for these is I'm going to label them to make it easier to remember what those locations are, and we can also use those labels if we want to in DAD. So this is going to be the courtyard, and we're just going to type use as a define. This is the stables, and we're going to use that as a define. This was the tack room. Use that as a define. Top of the stairs. Top of stairs. This one is the armory. We have an archway, and we have a guard room. Okay, so let's go back down. So we've got our connections in there. So as you'll notice, there's no entry going west from location 6 nor going north from location 5. This is because the player can only go west to join the patrol on the horse, and sentries will stop you going north into the castle. So that was why we've only got a one-way here. Having entered all those connections, we can at last test the adventure. Go to MM, select T to test adventure, etc. We don't need to do that, we can just go straight to the tab here. So now we have our introduction screen of Dawn Patrol, the information that we're a soldier, and our pranksters have hidden our helmet and chainmail that we need to find. From this location we can move around. So continue. We're showing our exits at the top, so we can go east from here to the stables, we can go east again to the tack room, we can go west. We can go west again, west under the archway, north into the guard room, and we can't yet move into south to the armory or north up into the castle. That's something which will be dealt with in the next tutorial, next series of steps from this tutorial. So that's it for this tutorial. I will see you in the next video, where we'll move on to the next stages of, I think, wiring up those room connections and adding a few steps into the process tables. So I'll see you in the next video.